What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of the Sit Down. As always, if you enjoy this live video, please make sure you hit that like button. Let me know what you think of tonight's discussion in the comment section below. If you're new around here, you just haven't done it yet, or you're living in a rock and seeing this video for the first time, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button below now so you never miss another Sit Down video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. It's been a month or so since my last live show. Hope all of you are having a great night wherever you are. It's middle of May, May 15th. Already May 15th. Crazy how quick time flies. I hope you're enjoying your week so far. We've got some things to talk about tonight. I told you guys, generally I don't come on live unless there's something really important that we need to talk about. And I think it's good to come on occasionally and discuss what's going on. And there's some things going on right now that I want to talk about. And I'll get to that in just a second. Before we do that, though, I know there's a lot of people in here. There's a lot of people who watch my videos that bet on sports. Now, the one knock on betting on sports is you're betting against a bookmaker. They have a lot of edges that maybe you don't have. They know a lot of things that maybe you don't know. And if you can get an edge, why not do it? Well, there's a new way to sports bet. And what's cool about this, ProfitX, is even if you're in a state that does not have legalized sports betting, you can actually use an exchange, which at ProfitX, it is the first sports prediction exchange, and they have the best odds in the business. Essentially, what you're doing is you're betting against odds set by others or odds set by yourself, and they're matched by other people. And generally, when you're betting, I'm noticing I'm generally getting a point or a half a point of value in each game, 10 to 15 cents on each wager. I'm generally always getting the best price in the market, whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever. And the cool thing is, again, if you're in a state that doesn't have legalized sports betting, it's entirely possible that ProfitX is in your state. In the chat box, I have the link to join ProfitX. I want you to go check it out. It's a great option. It's something that I use. I enjoy ProfitX. And I figured I'd share it with you because it's a great way to get involved in gambling. Now, click the link in the pinned comment of this video or in the chat right now and jump aboard. 40 states where there's ProfitX. So, all right, guys, let's get into the show today. I wanted to do this show because I happened to stumble across a season 5 episode of The Sopranos. It was called Two Tonies, where Tony's cousin, Tony Blundetto, gets out of jail, and there's a news report where they reference the class of 2004, where a bunch of gangsters get out, a bunch of the characters get out, and we meet them. And there's a news broadcast where a Jerry Capisci type discusses the recent, people that have been let out, and is this going to mean more in the way of crime reporting? Well, it's seemingly going on right now because there are a bunch of guys that have gotten out of federal prison. And I want to talk a little bit about that tonight. And these aren't just associates or made guys. These are alleged high-ranking members of various crime families, including one who some people say is the boss in waiting in one of the 5 families. We'll talk about all that and more. But without further ado, let's get into it. Ronnie G was released from prison this morning, according to multiple sources that I have. I know Eric Foss and I have been kind of on the forefront of reporting this information. I'd gotten about a week ago some information that Ronnie was on the precipice of being released. I was told it would be within the next few weeks. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is when you're released from federal prison, you go to a halfway house. They need to free up beds. And what Ronnie was really just waiting on were beds at this point. This is a long prison sentence that Ronnie G has done. He's been in prison for about a decade, essentially. He was hit with 14 years, which is way over the sentencing guidelines that Ronnie G was given when he was jammed up by the feds on racketeering, loan sharking, all that sort of thing. And I think for Ronnie, you've got to wish him all the best. This is a guy who did his time. This is an individual that was a direct descendant from the cooperation of Gene Borrello. Gene Borrello was integral in putting Ronnie G and several others behind the wall, including Nicholas Festa, who can be seen on the far right of this photo. As we know, Ronnie is from Queens. He built a huge home, which they really pissed off the federal government, but that's here nor there. Ronnie is a guy who will have to spend some time in a halfway house, little house arrest sort of thing, home monitoring. But all in all, he's going to get home. He's going to come home to his kids, significant other, his family. Now, I won't do one thing here. I'm not going to speculate on these people's future. I think it is important that if we are talking about gangsters, when we talk about guys like this that are coming home from prison, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they will come home and change their fleet of foot, if you will, and do something else with their lives. Will they? I don't really know. I can't answer that. But Ronnie G is a guy who is still fairly young in terms of his life in organized crime. I know he has had some health problems from what I understand. Wish him all the best with that. And he did his time. So we got to welcome him home and hope that he, wish him all the best. Now, in terms of the alleged crime family that he's a part of, this is a guy who, according to the federal government, was a captain when he went away. He held sway over, a lot of Queens. He is a relative of Vinny and Jerry Asaro. So is he going to come home and slot right back in? Again, I'm not going to speculate. We'll see. Time will tell, obviously. But Ronnie is still, again, very young. He's a leadership type of guy. And I think at any rate, whether it's legal or illegal business that this individual does, I'm sure he'll have some success with it. I don't know what is up with the chat right now. I'm not getting any messages here whatsoever. So I apologize for that. I don't have any idea what's going on here. So if you're commenting, I'm trying to get them. I can't see much of anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the actual live chat. Could be something with StreamYard that's giving me an issue here. Are we even live? Who the hell knows? Yeah, I am live. I haven't been live. So maybe we just don't have that many people in here. So yeah, Ronnie G is out as of now, and he is in a halfway house. A couple others been released recently as well, including alleged Colombo mobster Vito Guzzo. Vito has done the longest stretch of these people that we're mentioning today. Vito did approximately 25 years. Vito is a guy who is no stranger to violence. He admitted the 5 murders. He got 38 years, and luckily, according to the First Step Act, like Ronnie G, that allowed him to be free. And that's something that we also want to point out with Ronnie G. It was the First Step Act that got Ronnie out, which you can credit Donald Trump for. A very good piece of legislation that he brought. Vito got out on very similar reasons. I do know that, and I'm not going to put this out there because I don't know that people want it public, but from what I understand, there is a significant reason that led to Vito's release. And look, it has nothing to do with any nefarious stuff, but from what I understand, he was a very good inmate, at least over the last decade or so. And he did something for another inmate, as far as I know. And, good for him, for that. As we know, Vito was at one time part of a group called the Giannini Crew out of Queens. But before that, he, really kind of was a crime wave out of Western Queens. He came up under his father, who was killed, and then Fat Patty Catalano, who could be seen here, who was based out of Ridgewood and Middle Village. This guy is no stranger. He's been down a long time. Here he can be seen with former mob associate Chris Labate. Vito's did his time, and he's another guy that a lot of people have speculated about. Some people believe that he got his button behind the wall, which some people don't recognize. But as I think I heard O.C. Shorts mention this a long time ago, and he's 100% right. I don't think anybody's going to make a bunch of hay around Vito. Vito is definitely a respected guy. He's a trusted guy. It'll be seen what happens next. I actually got a video thanks to Frank Fiorellino and NYC Crime Spot. They sent me a video of Vito's release, like his actual release of him coming out of jail and everything. And it is actually now my most viewed video I've ever put out on Instagram. 1.5 million views. So, Vito is still a guy that people know of, they remember. And Whether or not, I don't know whether he'll go back to the life or not, but he is another, pretty young guy in all encompassed terms. So he'll come home and eventually be out of home monitoring or house arrest or halfway house and do his thing. Now, what I do find interesting about these guys that are all being released, and I talked to this subject about with another content creator. Explain this. Vito Guzzo and Ronnie G, as well as others, are at the same halfway house. Yet, when they get out of the halfway house, they won't be allowed to be around felons. So essentially, they could walk out of this halfway house, and if they wave goodbye or hello or speak to somebody in a window, they're technically violating their supervised release requirements. Just kind of insane, if you ask me. But another heavyweight or alleged heavyweight that has been released. So good luck to him on his return home. Another person that was released recently that I reported on was Teddy Persico, who, look, let's just be honest, Teddy has spent a lot of time in federal prison. If we can be honest with ourselves, he has done 12 years for his involvement allegedly in a hit on Joey Scopo, which, if you know and follow along at home, he ordered that hit while on a furlough to go to a funeral. And he instructed people to take out Joey Scopa, which they ultimately did. Though one of the people involved with that was an informant called Anthony Russo. He kind of implicated Skinny Teddy, and Teddy's done a lot of time. He was indicted in a case back in 2021 alongside Ralph DiMatteo and Mush Russo involving the Colombo crime family. And he recently did a little shorter stretch in federal prison. He's now out in a halfway house. Some people allege that Teddy Persico is the boss in waiting in the Colombo crime family. We do know that he's the nephew of Carman Persico. He's the son of Teddy Persico Sr. There's still a large and rich blood of the Persicos in the Colombo family. There are various people that are alleged captains, made men, and Teddy, who is at the top. Now, one thing I do find interesting is during his sentencing a few years ago in this case, he told the judge that he had no desire to be boss, which essentially is a no-no. He allocuted, basically. He admitted that, yes, he is essentially part of that cohort, and he does not want to be the boss of it, which is kind of an interesting decision to say, but nonetheless, Teddy's out and going to come back to the streets. So we'll see. Maybe he'll move on. I don't know. He's been around this life really his whole life, as of all these people, really. And, as I've talked about, it's not general that they go back and just get regular jobs, but it's not impossible either, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, at least initially. Another person was released as well in the Colombo crime family, and as at the same halfway house, as far as I know, is Ralph DiMatteo, the alleged former consigliere of the family. Ralph's out of Brooklyn, I believe, came up in Gravesend. His brother Luca is a reputed member as well. There's not a lot known about the DiMatteos. They've been known, though, to be involved with gambling, ran some poker games and things of that nature. And I know when Ralph was arrested, a lot of people didn't really know much about him. He's kind of an unknown, but his brothers, I think, a little bit more well-known. But Ralph caught infamy when he was able to evade the law in rounding up all these people. And he was spotted in this photo in Florida, which his son took and posted on Twitter. We also do know that in this case, one of the captains listed, Richard Ferrara, he was actually someone who flipped, as far as we know, over a case. Mush Russo died, and I believe Vinny Union's passed as well. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure he died recently as well. He did die. He died last year. So two of these individuals have already passed away. So, kind of a class of 2025 has been released. And obviously people will speculate what's next for these guys. All the people that we mentioned here are made guys, and most of them are allegedly higher up than even Soldier. And even in like a Vito Guzzo's case, if Vito does go back to the life, I would have to imagine he has leadership capabilities down the road if and who, whatever family he's a part of, which is the Colombo family, allegedly. So, there could be something going on here. I heard people say to me, "Oh, the crime writers and the organized crime task forces are going to have some stuff to look at." Yeah, I mean, you look at the recent indictment on Georgie Neck. I mean, Georgie Neck spent a lot of time in prison, came back, went right back to that world. So, I mean, there's a lot of speculation that these people will go back. I again want to make it clear, I'm not going to say they are. They've done long stretches in prison. I wish them all the best, and they're coming home and they're going to do what they do, whether it's be in the life or not. But I do think, at least in this case, we shouldn't speculate on it, and I won't. But yeah, all very interesting nonetheless. I see some comments coming in finally. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show. If you enjoy our show and would like to contribute to it, we'd always appreciate it. Hit that super chat icon at the bottom of the chat box, a little $sign. You can also cash at me as well. Anything sent in is greatly appreciated. It goes towards thumbnails and editing and things of that nature. So if you're interested, you're welcome to do that. That would be great. I see some familiar names in here. Good to see you all. What's going on, Matt? Joe, Real Peasy, what's up? I wish anybody luck coming home from prison. I've been and now understand. Yeah, I hear you on that, man. I hear you on that. Jojo, what's going on? Pepino, what's up, man? Dan, FM, what's going on? Thank you for watching. I also want to comment. I want to shout out my boy, Julian Dory. Everybody check out my interview that I did with Julian the other day. We actually recorded it a couple of weeks ago, but it was really cool to do. Julian is a great guy. I had an enjoyable time with him, and it was a good interview. It was about 3 hours long, which is a long time to talk, but when you're doing it with someone like him, it's easy. We had a good conversation. We didn't talk really. We talked a good amount about the mob, but there was a lot of different things. We talked about my career. We talked about some of the current trials going on or that are coming up. We talked about cults. We talked about all sorts of things. So if you're out there, make sure you check that out. I'm sure you'll see it on your For You page. Just go to the Julian Dory podcast and show some love. Check it out. Whether you comment hate or not, as long as you watch it, that's all I really care about. All right. If there's any hope for the Bonanno crime family, it's with Ronnie G, if he goes back, that is. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty young, so I definitely could see that. John Martin. What's up, John? Thanks, man. Sal says, you always outdo yourself. Great show, and hope you're well. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And I don't know that I always outdo myself, but I appreciate you showing love and checking the show out. 364 people in here. Welcome in. I guess that's pretty good. I haven't done a live in a while, so thanks for jumping in. Roy Cohen fan. What's up, Roy Cohen fan? Carmine Pershko did a lot of time. Yes, he did. Great interview with Julian Dory. Really enjoyed it, bro. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. What's up, Joseph? Was Julian the guy at ADX CO? No. Julian's just a podcaster. Lots of names touching feet on land this year. Yeah, that's why I said it's the class of 2025. And I don't know if you joined late, Joe, but it kind of reminds me of that Sopranos episode where they did kind of a who's who of getting out of prison, whether it was Phil Leotardo or Tony Blundetto or Angelo or any of them. It's when Tony and Bobby are sitting in the room just watching like the crime thing. And it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. There's a bunch of guys that are getting out, and we give them, the benefit of the doubt, wish them the best. Vito says, it's time for some old timers to get out now. These guys get freedom. So should they. Well, there's no retiring in the world of that. I know some do, but we'll see. Yeah, I've continued to hear this. I love you, Sean, but I don't really understand this point. I hate to tell you, Ronnie G. Alonso is not going to risk his freedom on someone like Gene Borrello. This isn't the 80s anymore, 70s. Maybe then, yeah, but not now. Um, so then again, I mean, who knows with Gene? I'm sure he'll say something, but yeah, he ain't gonna. Ronnie is not gonna affect his freedom over that. So, all right. Rami says all the best to you, Ronnie G. I agree. Yes, he died along with the guy who invented the crossword puzzle. All right. Vito's doing good. He is working, not involved in nothing crime related. Yes, I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for letting us know. Fortunate for them, they aren't coming home too much. As long as they're smart, they'll be all right. Well, that's a good point, actually. There isn't, as I just said, this isn't the mob of the 80s, right, or the 70s. So yeah, in a way, you're right. They're not coming home too much. What's going on, brother? Kathy Rowe, this is a good question. What is happening with Carman Agnello's case? That's a great question. His sentencing was actually, and when we say Carman Agnello, we mean the grandson of John Gotti, the daughter of Victoria Gotti, a spiky-haired kid years ago. As we know, he was hit with fraud charges in that COVID scam. He was originally supposed to be sentenced on May 7th, about a week ago. In fact, I believe last Wednesday or Thursday. And the sentencing was delayed, from what I understand. I'm not sure why. I guess if you're him, I would kind of hope that it come as quick as possible. The quicker you do it, the quicker it's over. But yeah, from what I understand, it was delayed. I don't know when it will be. I haven't looked into Pacer to see when it's going to be. My guess is in a couple of months. I'd probably say middle end of summer. But eventually, Mr. Agnello is going to have to face the wrath of the judge. He's going to go to prison for this. And that's a shame. I'm sure he regrets his behavior. From what his mother said, he did have a gambling problem. I wish him all the best. I hope he gets his that stuff figured out. Gambling could be a real problem. And yeah, again, I responsibly gamble, and I, would instruct you to as well. But with whatever happened, he is not a dangerous person. I think he's an extremely violent person. I don't think he's a violent person at all. Do I think he belongs in prison? No, I don't. I said that on the show I did about him. I think when we're dealing with crimes like this, they're going to come down especially hard on people that steal from the government, and things like this. And if you look at very similar cases, all of them got similar prison sentences, 3-4 years. My guess, I would say in the area of 4 years for the kid, in between 3 and 4 years. And do I think it's deserved? No. It is a victimless crime in the end, but there are strict rules, and you had to figure that the government, when all this ended with the pandemic, they were going to come back on all this. They put a lot of money out, and they're going to come down on people that take it. So I do feel bad that happened to the kid, but it is what it is, I guess. A couple of people are asking for the link to the interview. Yeah, I'll drop it here. Bear with me a second. I'm surprised that some people haven't just seen it come up on their thing, but there's the link. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Emilio, have you seen Tulsa King yet? It features a lot of the cast of Boardwalk Empire. Can be corny at times, but overall fun, watchable show. I have watched it. I think you're right. It's kind of like, to me, a poor man's Entourage. It's good. I mean, it's nothing special. It's fun nowadays, TV wise. I think the seasons have gotten better. Like the first season, I didn't love, but I thought the most recent season was pretty good. I'm not a huge Stallone fan, but yeah, I do think some of the actors are pretty good. There's a lot of Sopranos actors. Like Benny's in it. Billy Leotardo's in it. Obviously Vincent Piazza, who was in Boardwalk Empire, is in it. So yeah, it's quality. It's, again, is it The Sopranos? No. Is it Gomorrah? No. But it's not bad. It's a Paramount Plus type show. I do think it's probably the weakest of Taylor Sheridan's shows. Like Mayor of Kingstown, I think is awesome. I love Mayor of Kingstown. I think that's the best show on TV right now. I don't think it's Mayor of Kingstown by any means, but yeah, it's all right. I never thought of it like that. In terms of what, my man? Ruben Mendoza, can you do a video on the new inductees into the LA family? The LA family's defunct, as far as I know. So I don't see that we'll have any videos on that. The prisons need to make room for new players. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's always new people coming in, I guess. Gene has other problems right now. Yes, he does. That's a good point. It's a good point. That was a great listen on that recent podcast. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. There's more legit money. That's a good point too. Doing crime now is a really challenging, situation for yourself. There's just too many ways to get caught, man. There's too many people out there that aren't as, let's just say, stand up as you a lot of the time. If you're a criminal and you're doing crime, you may not cooperate, but people that are with you may, and you've got to worry about that. Exactly. The device we're watching this show on can make us more money than the streets anyway. It's a new world. Yes, it can. It's a great way to look at it, actually. I always talk about this with social media, man. I mean, social media is a great way to get involved with, it's something anyone can do. You look at something like Eric Foss. That's actually not a bad example. I mean, Eric Foss is a guy who, he came home from prison. He's found a way to reorient himself back into society. That's not necessarily his job, but it could provide him with a little cash. He could tell stories, he can do things. So yeah, I think it's a strong idea. And there's a lot more money in working. I hate to say it, in building something. You might not get it right away, but it will come. By the way, guys, I hate to be a worry wart about this, but if you're on Instagram, I would appreciate you following me. And there's a reason why. I am approaching 100,000 subscribers on Instagram. I'm very proud of that. I've been able to really build something there. So if you're there and you can, check me out, sit down at the Sit Down Crime Pod. We're at 99K. So if you can go follow me, that would be greatly appreciative. I started posting on Instagram about 2.5 months ago. We've had some great videos. We've gained a lot of followers quick, a lot of engagement. So if you enjoy crime content, go check us out. Let's continue with some comments here, and then we'll wrap it up here in a bit. Wasn't Teddy Pershko running a business before he got out? At least he has that to come home to. I would imagine. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I would imagine he was. Seen the interview. Great interview. You're very knowledgeable. Thank you, Pete H. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yoshiko, Don Pepe from your mob restaurant video was an Entourage. Yes, it was. A Turtle was trying to open one in LA, I remember. Do I think the Gambino crime family is the most prevalent today? Yeah, I would say. I mean, probably them and the other family, the other G family. Entourage was great. I have no desire to watch a poor man's version of it. Yeah, I hear you on that. Have I been betting on NHL playoffs? A little, not crazy. I actually bet some live NHL playoffs last weekend or 2 weekends ago. I forget when it was. Not really. I don't bet as much in the spring and summer as I do with football and basketball, but I've been doing some NBA playoffs and here and there. Didn't Ronnie G survive a heart attack? Yes. Yes, he has. He's had some medical issues for sure. Frank Fiordolino, what's going on, Frank? How you doing, brother? Hope all is well. Eagles' schedule this year is very difficult. Yeah, it is. Dan Tundis, $5. Thank you, Dan Tundis. Appreciate that, my brother. Thank you for showing love. What do you know about the Vegas Sicilians and Jewish people? Not a lot. DF says, been a while. Very interesting. Always interesting. Thank you, DF. Yeah, I haven't been on in a while. I've been just kind of focused on my content. I'm not coming on here and getting involved with these back and forths. I'm not doing that. I have better things to do. Um, I've said before and I'll say it again. I'm nearing my end with all this. I've always talked about leaving and eventually I'm going to, and it's no it's no sad day. When I started this show, I always had an end game for it. So when that will be, I don't know. But I'm just I've been through it all in here. I think a lot of us have. We've been through kind of all sorts of things, and um, none of it matters anyway, really. So I just try to just keep the negativity away and just focus on this stuff. Um, I know that certain people had things to say about my Peter Pasta video. I got a lot of comments about that. I do stand on 2 feet with that one. I will say this, as far as I know, I have talked to no one in a strong point from that world that will contend that Mr. Pellegrino is a captain. Is he around people? It wouldn't surprise me. I've heard that he is. And if that's true, that is a major black eye to the Bonanno crime. It really is. And I will stand on 2 feet with that one. This is a person, and I have it in my possession, the PFA that he took out. So again, that is a no-no. If you're a normal citizen and you do that, you're all able to do it. But if you're a mob guy, you're essentially a made guy at the time, and you're now supposed to be a made guy, that should preclude you from being involved with the life at all. And no one connected to that cohort will tell you any different. See No Evil. What's going on, See No Evil? How you doing? What else do we have here? Drop your Instagram. I did. I don't know if you saw it. At the Sitdown Crime Pod. At the Sitdown Crime Pod. What else do we have here? Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Great interview with Julian. I especially thought it was great food for thought to consider for and when Joey Molino got his button. I've always wondered it myself. I know a lot of people, will think I'm crazy with that comment, but I'm just asking you to think a little bit more outside of the box. But in this genre, occasionally, some people, they don't want to think that way, which is fine. It's just really a way to kind of get people's minds going a little bit. God's plan always. Hey Jeff, hope you're good. What's going on, God's plan? I hope all is well with you too. Will I be doing sports content this year? Absolutely. We're actually going to ramp that up a lot. So, I'm excited about football season. Yeah. What's up, Danny J? How you doing, man? Yeah, it's amazing. Great film, Emilio. Amazing film. I don't think that has anything to do with Gene or him. I think Ronnie's just going to try to live his life. Appreciate that, my man. Thank you. Dejan, what's going on? Thank you, SL. Someday. You never know. You never know. Appreciate that, nursing. Thank you. And thanks, guys, for watching. Guys and girls, I appreciate everybody checking in and saying hello tonight. I don't want to take these lives, too long. And I just kind of want to, say what I have. And when we get through the comments, that's that. So I appreciate everybody for showing some love in here tonight. I appreciate everybody and their participation. I appreciate everybody and their candor. I'll leave you with this. There's a lot of things that have been said about me the last month or so. People are welcome to say what they want. All I'll tell you is don't believe everything you hear. Other than that, I thank all of you for watching. I'll just answer this quick. Are you going back to Barstool and the Chicago faction? I've been seeing a lot of stuff online. Well, you have to wait and see, my man. Maybe. You never know. You never know. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you for watching, Marky. What's up, Pete? Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'll see you all next time. New video out Saturday. And please, guys, go check out my friends at ProfitX. The link is in the pinned comment of this video. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.